What's up, guys, and welcome back to the finale, I think, of Feed the Beast Interactions. The last episode we made this creative storage key, and now we're just going to focus on, first of all, getting this page complete, which in turn should complete this page. And then, depending on how long that takes, we'll see how long we've got left and probably try and complete as many of the main tabs as we can. Like I said last episode, I don't think I'm going to bother with the chicken tab, but you know, obviously I quite like to finish this tab, and this tab, we've already finished the metallurgy and chemistry tabs. Maybe the power tab, but that requires a Mark III fusion reactor, which we don't really need for anything else. Like I say, we'll see how we are for time. To start off with, I made up a fusion coil block, and we're just going to duplicate this several times, because we will need a bunch of these, and they're really expensive. I probably didn't need that many, but you know, at least now we're not going to run out. Now these are also the final tier of coil block, so we might as well just replace these while we're at it. I don't know that we actually need them, but we have infinite, so yeah, these are 9700k and these are 9000. It's 9k, so whether or not we need the extra temperature, I don't know, but these look kind of neat as well, so nice to get at least one EBF set up with them. Now then, we are currently working on this fusion reactor. So once this is finished, we can make the Americium. Let's just make the Infinity Armor, as well as a couple of other things. So we need these fusion machine casings. These are just tungsten steel plates and LUV machine casings. Just the normal ones. And I'm not going to bother automating anything at this point, because it's easier just to grab stacks of them out of the drawer. So there is a fusion machine case, and we'll just go duplicate this. What I might actually do is grab another drawer and just put it next to this crafting terminal. Not a drawer, a barrel. I can't wait to use drawers again. Probably one of my biggest gripes with this pack is that it doesn't have storage drawers. I think the person that made the pack wanted to encourage people to use things that they wouldn't normally use, and that's fair enough. The drawers are just so much more convenient. My magnet in here. Okay, so there is more than enough fusion machine casings. That should be enough coil blocks. And then I think the only other thing we should really need is this actual fusion reactor computer. Now this needs LUV field generators. These are quite expensive, but again, we only have to make one of them, so it's not that bad. And wetware supercomputers, which is the only one that, yeah, unfortunately you have to finish this one before you can get the quest reward for them here. But they are not too bad to craft. 4 SMD diodes, and we haven't made these before, but it's just small piles of gallium and fine platinum wire. And just grab some polyethylene. I don't think we're ever actually going to need more diodes than this. This is our first wetware supercomputer. We can just tick these to get the quest completions. And we'll also grab the mainframes just to finish. Oh, that's loud. Just to finish that quest. And that is this whole chapter complete. I'll take the ultimate stew. Was that superconductor wire? Yeah, I'll take this too. And so let's make one of these LUV field generators. This is 4 stacks of fine osmium wire, 16 wet wire processors. We will have to make the emitters. We can just craft one of these and duplicate it again. What are we missing? On some assemblies. It's because we are on the crystal processors now. Now we should be able to craft this. And it was 4 stacks of fine osmium wire. $16 wet wire processors. 4 8x yttrium barium cables. 1 HSSG frame. And 1 improved nether star. Okay, so now we just need the 4 emitters, and then it's going to be 4 ingots of soldering alloy. That's 1 LUV field generator. And we can just duplicate this as with everything else. And then in order to make the fusion reactor, we need 48 HPICs, 32 2x superconductor, 4 europium, 2 of these field generators, 1 fusion coil block, and then 4 wetware supercomputers. Now we're also going to need ZPM energy hatches for this. I guess we might as well just duplicate some of these. We need 1 energy input hatch, a naquadah cable. Here is our Mark II fusion reactor computer. And that finished off this chapter. Need to go there. So it needs to go. Yeah, that looks about right. So we should just need to mix lithium and chrome to make Americium. I already had 64 ingots of lithium, so I figure we might as well just mix those. And then this is making our Americium. And then in order to make the neutronium, we need to add an quadria to that, which is a fusion of radon and enriched naquadah. We have a little bit of enhanced naquadah and some radon. And this should give us an quadria. Not sure how much we're going to get. A little bit at least. Hopefully we get an ingot's worth, because then I could probably solidify it and duplicate it. There's our naquadria ingot. And then if we put the naquadria in one side and the Americium in the other, and then we should start getting some neutronium. This is a really slow craft for the amount that you get. Wow. 2 millibuckets per. Okay, so we've got enough to at least make an ingot. So there is our first neutronium ingot, which completes another quest. Obviously we're just going to duplicate this a few times. There we go. that will be more than enough, I am sure. That is also another quest on this page finished. Next, let's go back to working on our Infinity Armor. Yeah, so we should have everything to make the Infinity Armor now. Oh, yeah, of course. I forgot about that. Throw that in there for a second. We have the 750 lubricant. And then it's going to be a total of 48 Naquadah alloy, 12 neutronium plates, 6 IV field generators, and then just throw these in one at a time. There is our chest, our head, and our legs of infinity. Okay, I need to hide that. There we go, and I think I'm pretty much invulnerable at this point. Please tell me I'm still have fire resist. Okay, so I don't, but it just doesn't affect me. And then which quest should we do next? We might as well make this. I'm probably not going to bother making the actual multi-block for it. So we need a draconium ring, a wyvern core, terrasteel screw, lapatronic energy orb, and a wyvern energy core. And there's the energy core. Guess we might as well do this. I wonder where this stability, like I had much better stability gain before. I don't actually know what's happened to it. And here is our guilty everlasting, well, the everlasting guilty mana pool. So there's really not many things left to do now. On this tab, we only have the Naquadah reactor and the creative energy cell. So let's take a look at the Naquadah reactor. Mark 1 it wants. So 2 EV field generators, 2 quantum assemblies, 2 4X aluminium cables, and 2 235 rods. Okay, can we just go ahead and craft this now? We can. So there's our Naquadah reactor Mark 1. And we'll take those meatballs. Okay, I didn't actually need them. Well. And then the final quest on this page is the creative energy cell. This needs 16 dense energy cells, which needs 6 energy cells. We have these downstairs. I want 16 glass, 5 flux blocks, and a redstone. We want that. Is it 3x3? Yeah, it is. Hopefully I don't have to move these projectors to craft the 3x3. No, I don't. That's nice. And then the creative one, we're going to need 6 hardened, have to be hardened iridium glass. Does iridium and hardened glass. Let's craft this. It is 16 of these around the outside, infinity block in the middle, and then What's wrong with this? Oh. There we go. And wait for it. Chapter completed, God's plan. So, I haven't finished the pack. What are my thoughts on it? I enjoyed it. It's a fun pack. There's definitely some things about it I wasn't so keen on. A good example would be the lack of storage drawers, but I can't really just prattle on about that one over and over again. The quest book, although it outlines the base progression of the pack very well, and it does give you everything that you need to sort of complete the pack, I feel like it misses out on quite a lot of features that the mods have. Like, rather than having magic be almost entirely progression based, it might be nice to like look into some of the things that you can actually do with the magic packs, you know, some of the different types of armor that are available, so on and so forth, especially with the difficulty of the mobs in the pack. I think maybe there could have been some instances where potential holdups could be described a little bit better. Like it mentions here that, you know, you'll need a lot of toluene for neutronium production. And it is in the LV page of the quest book, but I think it maybe could be a little bit more obvious about just how much you're going to need, like in the tens of thousands. And that's assuming that you use it efficiently. So I think there are like one or two problems with the quest book, but it does describe the general like outline of your progression very well. It never leaves you feeling lost as to what your next objective should be. I specifically had a couple of problems with the exoplanets that you visit, Aurelia and Euclides Prime. For me, those were both quite laggy. My PC's not exactly high spec anymore, so that might have been more of a me problem than a problem with the pack. But it was definitely very laggy for me, even when I wasn't recording, which, you know, in the overworld it's very smooth for me. Is when I'm not recording, it's only really when I'm recording that I get a bit of stuttering sometimes. I think there were a few elements that didn't really help with this. A good example would be the tree beacon from Astral Sorcery, although you can replace it later on in the pack, or you could put it in the Void Dimension. And this also goes for using the light wells to generate mana, liquid nightmares, and specifically Starlight, because you use a lot of that in this pack. It can also be very laggy and hurt your FPS a fair bit. I found some of the later on mobs also really annoying, mostly just the dinosaur creepers and flying spiders that spawn at any light level. And although it's mostly solved by, you know, having something like a peace candle in your base, when you're out, for example, when I go out to replace the oil pump, I'd often just get swarmed by like 6 or 7 flying spiders, and, you know, I'd have climbed up on a pillar to place the new pump, and then they'd just like start shooting at me and knocking me off. And it was just kind of annoying. There's also a lot of really good things about this pack. It's reasonably lightweight on the Greg Tech, which is good for a lot of people, because Greg Tech's a really fun mod. It's got a lot of great automation challenges, let's say. You know, I really enjoy. And, you know, the full Greg Tech experience, such as you get in like Greg Tech New Horizons and mods like that, it's a little bit too much for a lot of people. And I don't blame them at all. So it's great seeing packs like this that, you know, take the experience and make it more manageable for, you know, those of us that are a little bit less masochistic. I do think there was a few too many assembling machine recipes that relied on a magnitude of different fluids and programmable circuit numbers. Like, I felt like I needed to have like 10 plus assembling machines just to deal with all of the different combinations with automation. the volumetric flasks mod does make it a lot easier. It's a shame that the pattern expansion cards don't work in their interfaces. Also, you know, like, there's a bunch of really cool multi-blocks added. Like this guy Crucible. This was one of, I think I only built 2 of them. And I know there's a lot more. I guess if you count like the photo fission nuclear generator, I built a couple of extra. And, you know, this is kind of just like a modular machines built around a collector crystal multi-block. It's a really neat idea. I just didn't feel like they were super necessary for progression. They were like nice little boosts for things. This was the other one I built, the alchemical matter infuser, which was, you know, is pretty useful. It might have been nice to see those multi-blocks like a little bit more required for progression, rather than, I mean, I think the only one that you actually have to build to progress is the Sky Cauldron. You'd have a pretty bad time without the photo fission nuclear generator, I think, because it bridges like the gap between single block generators and end game power sources. But I mean, there's a botanical fishery I didn't build. The gen refiner didn't really seem all that necessary. I had more pristine gems and exquisite gems than I needed just from running all of my diamond and emeralds and stuff through an ore processing line. There's a multi-block that converts Botania mana and Wizardry mana between each other. And there's also the, I forget what it's called, the Infernal Deconglomerator, which I think would have made maybe made a couple of things in the pack a little bit easier for me. I think I underestimated some of the stuff in the pack as well, and that's probably my own fault more than the design of the pack. There's a lot of times where I'd like look at what I needed to get to, like, you know, like the next breakpoint in progression, like the next tier or the next type of circuit. And I'd just be like, you know, I can skip like a bunch of this stuff in the middle. It's like, because I only need to craft a few of these. And, you know, I fell down quite a few rabbit holes doing that, I have to admit, and then came back and cursed myself a few times later when I didn't quite have enough, you know, enough automation to craft something that I wanted in a reasonable time. Would I recommend this pack? I think I probably would. It would be somewhat reasonable as your first Greg Tech pack. I'd still probably recommend Nomi Factory for that, but, you know, this isn't a bad choice, especially if you like magic mods as well and things that aren't purely tech focused. It's definitely a nice combination of mods, and as like I say, as long as you don't underestimate it, it has a good level of difficulty without being, you know, too hard. Although, really, did we need creepers that disappear when you get too close to them and blazes that hurt you whenever you hurt them? You know, I'm not quite so sure, but yeah, I definitely think I'd recommend it. And with that, I think I'm going to end this episode and the series here. We haven't quite 100%ed it, but I don't really feel that much of a need to do the things that are left. We probably completed about 75, maybe 80% of the quest book, and we did finish the progression page and the creative page. So I kind of consider that done. I hope that you've enjoyed coming along on this journey with me. Thank you very much if you've stuck around and watched a decent chunk of it. Next up, unless anyone makes a suggestion that really piques my interest, it's probably going to be Nomi Factory, the Greg Tech Community Edition unofficial version. I'm really excited to play some more Nomi Factory, to be honest. And I'm really excited to hopefully like see through to the end game of that pack. I think I've learned quite a few things about late game Greg Tech that I'll be able to apply in that pack from playing this one. Feel free to leave your feedback down in the comments, and hopefully you'll join me for my next journey. Thanks for watching, guys. Bye.